This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
So why do seagulls live near the sea? Because if they lived near the bay, they'd be bagels. Welcome to Wings and Things, where you'll find real answers to real questions about everything you want to know about pet birds. Care, feeding, bird products, travel, and more. Everything to make your frequent flyer a happy camper. From parrots to parakeets, cockatiels to cockatoos, you'll have a bird's eye view of everything there is to know about your fun, feathered friends. So, spread your wings and get ready to fly with your Wings and Things host, bird expert and author, Susan Chamberlain.
Hi, welcome to Wings and Things on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Susan Chamberlain, and we've got a special species spotlight today. We're going to be discussing conures. They're colorful, vibrant birds from South America, and a special guest, Roberta Fabiano, and her mitred conure, Ratchet. Roberta, welcome to Wings and Things on Pet Life Radio.
Well, thank you, Susan. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Well, what is your conure's name? I see your little mitred conure. Ratchet is right here on your arm.
Yes, she is.
And she's a green bird with red around her face. Mm-hmm. And she's about 11 inches long overall. Mm-hmm. While we're talking about conures, we should tell you conures are indigenous to South America. And there are two genus of conures. There's the Payura conure, which includes dusky conures. They're kind of quieter, smaller, and have more jewel tones, the darker tones. And Ratchet is a member of the genus Aratinga, which if you put the two words together, Ara means macaw, Tinga means smaller. It's like little macaw.
That. Wow.
And they actually do look like little macaws.
Yes, they do.
They have a big beak in relation to their face. They have that long tail. They're larger and noisier than the Payura conures. And some of the Aratinga species are the gold-capped conure, the sun conure, blue-crowned, cherry-headed, and mitred conures, the Gende conure, and the Nande conure.
Ooh, I had a Nande conure.
You did?
Yes, I did. And I must say, well, the Nande has the black head. Mm-hmm. He's a little smaller than the mitred, and but he's very loud. He's very boisterous. My Nande didn't speak, although I do understand that some of them can speak.
But he chattered away enough. And those Nandes, they have that little black head and the green body, but they look like they have little red leggings on. They have red feathers on their legs.
They do, yes. And my friends used to call him the gangster bird.
The gangster bird?
Yeah.
Why?
He was just very demanding, headstrong.
Oh, okay. Well, they kind of are. I call my Amazons the gang of four.
Ooh.
Sometimes I call them the Sandinistas.
Oh, my goodness.
They get what they want and they work in concert. But one thing about conures, we'll spell it for everybody who may not know. It's Conure. I get mail from people calling them condors.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Sometimes you look in the newspaper and you see somebody selling a gold-capped condor.
I used to think that way before I knew anything about parrots. So
I know.
I understand.
And you wonder what kind of species that is.
Yeah.
But it's a conure, Conure. Right. And there are many different varieties of them. And, when you go to Costa Rica, you may see them flying around, jabbering away. You can't mistake that sound.
I'd love to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw some in Bonaire. The island of Bonaire has its own species. It's off the coast of Venezuela. Ooh. It's part of the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Ooh. And they have an indigenous conure called the Bonaire conure.
What does that look like?
It kind of looks like the Gende conure. It's yellow with green wings. Wow. And it's probably about the same size, maybe about 9 or 10 inches long from tail to head. See that little voice you hear in the background here? That's Ratchet. She has to put her 2 cents in every so often.
And she does speak and she sings too.
No, she does.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Conures weren't always known for their great talking ability, but now that more of them are domestically bred and hand-raised, we're finding out that they do have a much better talking ability than anybody thought. Ratchet, would you like to say a few words?
Ratchet, why don't you tell the audience, why don't you ask them a question? What's up? Go ahead, ask them what's up. What's up? What's up? Come on, that's me saying it. We've been trying to get her. What's up? What's up?
You know, Ratchet's very used to the microphone because her pet human, Roberta Fabiano, is a professional musician. She's the lead vocalist and lead guitarist with the legendary Peter Duchin Orchestra. And Roberta often brings Ratchet with her into her recording studio.
Yes.
And sometimes on special gigs.
I brought her actually on a Peter Duchin job once when we played for the fundraiser for the Long Island Parrot Society. Do you remember that?
That's right, you did.
And I put her by the microphone.
Mm-hmm. You did.
She looked good.
She did. She's great. Roberta, you know, Roberta has a specially outfitted guitar for Ratchet, too. Why don't you tell us what it is, Roberta?
Well, I have a friend of mine gave me a little Barbie guitar. It's actually quite cute. It's got little nylon strings. It's built to scale, and it's like perfect size for my bird. And I give the bird, well, I would never give her the guitar and leave the room. I have to watch because it's got little pieces on it. You don't want her swallowing it or chewing it.
All right.
But I give her the little guitar, and she bashes it around like a little Pete Townsend.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I even put her on YouTube. I got a little YouTube thing.
Oh, that's hysterical. You know what one thing we have to be careful of, though, now, you know, you're hearing so much about the toys for children made in China.
Oh, yes.
With, that have lead paint on them.
What is that all about?
I know. So, you know, we have to be especially careful when we're giving our birds human toys.
Yes.
And take a look and see if they're made in China or even in an undeveloped country, because they may not have the same requirements as we do here in the United States.
I know that I've learned from the Parrot Society, definitely if you're going to give them a cloth toy, it better be all cloth, nothing with the plastic eyes or anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, you don't want anything that they can pull off and swallow.
Right.
But Roberta, how about your own guitar that you have outfitted
for
Ratchet?
Oh, that one. Yes, I put a little a broken drumstick on the end of my acoustic guitar. I just taped. It's a throwaway guitar. It didn't matter that I put tape on it, and I put the parrot on the drumstick, so it's a little perch.
A parrot perch on the guitar.
Right on the guitar.
And when people see it, they think it's like some cool musician thing that they didn't know about.
Then you see the bird appear.
I know.
So
what's that? That's my parrot perch.
Yeah.
That's for sure. You know, one thing conures have in common, being rainforest birds, they just love water. And when I had a couple of conures years ago, you know, the minute I would fill their water dishes, they would be in those water dishes taking baths.
Yes.
It didn't matter how cold it was in the apartment. They were there taking baths, splashing water all over my cat and all over everything.
Really? And you had a cat when you had your parrot?
Oh, my cat was terrified of the birds.
She was.
Yeah, all they'd have to do was sound off and throw water on her, and her ears were flattened out.
Oh, no.
She was off and running.
So she never tried to attack?
No, she didn't. So Ratchet loves water too.
She does. She takes a shower with me every day.
Does.
Yeah, I've got one of those little perches that attaches to the wall with little suction cups, and she loves it. She closes her eyes in bliss.
Yeah, she has her own little shower perch.
Yes, she does. And she demands that I put her in it. She just
I bet she
goes
does.
crazy. When
Well,
she knows I'm going to
used
take a shower, she just screams until I put her in there.
Well, that's great. You know, daily shower is so good for these birds.
Yes.
It's so good for their feather condition. It's great for their sinuses.
And you
it's
spray
good for their
yours?
skin.
Do you
I
spray them?
spray mine with a spray bottle. Sometimes they'll take a shower. They'll take a bath in their water dishes. My African gray parrot, Bert, he gets like right in the water dish with his feet like a duck. It's so funny. He's got those big wet feet.
So when you spray them, it's a straight straight water. You don't put anything else in it, right?
No, it really isn't necessary to
Right.
put anything
you can't
else
put
in
soap
it.
on your bird. Right?
No, you don't want to strip the essential oils off the
Right.
bird's feathers. You don't want to add any perfumes or anything like that. So just plain water. That's what they're used to in nature, and that's what they should have in your home. Just plain water, and they love it. You know, if your bird's afraid of, if you're going to be giving your bird a shower,
Right.
and it's afraid of the spray bottle, try just spraying it up toward the ceiling and let the droplets gently fall on your bird. That often has a totally different effect than if you just like shoot it at the bird gun style. You know,
Exactly.
and never use water to punish your bird. You know, if your bird's yelling and screaming, of course you can encourage it to take a bath, spray it gently to distract it. I'm all for distraction, but, you know, you don't want to put it on a stream and, you know, shoot it at the bird as a punishment. Not a good thing.
Oh.
I mean, when a bird's yelling and screaming, it's not being bad. It's just being a bird.
He's trying to communicate with you.
Yeah. Maybe there's something amiss in the environment.
Right.
And one time my birds were screaming and carrying on. And there was like no rhyme or reason for it. So I looked, you know, at their perches, and it was a little below my eye level. So I said, let me get down to their eye level. So I got down to their eye
That's a good
level.
idea, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as I did, I could see there was a big black kite caught up in the telephone wires on the next block.
That's wild.
And they could see that. And
They probably thought it was an
scaring
eagle or
them.
something, a big bird.
I know, a big
right?
bird of prey.
Hawk, yeah.
So, you know, try to think like a bird if your bird's
That's a
doing
great
something
idea.
that you don't want it to do or that seems frightening. We hear Ratchet
We
there.
do.
Ratchet's...
I wish she could speak.
Okay.
Come on, why don't you say something
Well,
like
we can hear plenty. Come
What's
on,
up?
Ratch.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Why don't you try to sing? Want to try to sing a little bit? Sing Merry Christmas. Come on, come on.
She's saying, come
Sing
on.
Merry Christmas. Come on. Sing Merry Christmas. Oh, come on. Sing. You sing. Come on, you sing. Sing Merry Christmas. And then the other song, well, she does sing Merry Christmas. It was taught by her former owner. And she also does Shake Your Booty, unfortunately, but she does sing the, come on, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Come on. Shake your booty. Sing. Shake, shake, shake.
No, I guess Ratchet does not want to cooperate. I have to say, Roberta, she has you very well trained.
Yes, doesn't she? She's using me as a preening stand right now, so the people will know.
Yes, she certainly does.
Yes.
But she does have very good talking ability. She says, shake your booty and Merry Christmas
Right.
and come on, sing.
She says, come on, sing. And she also says, at night, she'll tell me when she wants to go to sleep, she'll say, good night. She gets like an
good night.
Australian accent. Good night. I love you.
I love you. Good night.
Give me a kiss. I taught her how to say I love you.
And
I
she
don't think
says,
she
pretty
can-
girl, pretty girl.
I'm a pretty girl.
I'm a pretty girl.
I'm a pretty birdie. I'm a
Oh,
good birdie.
I thought she was calling me a pretty girl.
Well, I think she was. She was yes, she was. She went. And then when you leave today, she's going to say, "Well, boy, see you later."
Yes, bye-bye.
She'll stand by the door and watch the guests leave, and she'll start saying that, which is wonderful. And she'll also, when you come here, she'll say, "Come on in," like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's mimicking me.
I know, she's really something. And she just has her big, beautiful new cage with all her toys.
That you
and
gave
plenty
her.
to do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, she needed a brand new birdie condo.
It is a condo.
Yes, it's her safe place. It's her new estate. She kind of loves to show it off.
Yes, she does.
And the birdies do love to show off.
Yes.
Now there was a really interesting phenomenon out in San Francisco. Many of you may have heard of the book or the movie, The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill. The birds in that movie, some of them looked very much like Ratchet. Most of them were cherry-headed conures, but they are very, very close second to the mitred conure. They both have red heads and brilliant green bodies. There were also some blue-crowned conures in the flock. And a man named Mark Bittner kind of observed these birds and began feeding them, began studying them, began caring for them. And then the movie, The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill, came about. And shortly after, not too long after the book was published, and it was an incredible story about these wild flocks. And in parts of the country, you do see wild flocks of parrots. In New Jersey, you see the Quaker parakeets over in Edgewater.
Yes, we saw that. And they also have the Quakers in Brooklyn, I believe, around Ocean Avenue, near Coney Island.
Yes, and up near Co-op City.
Co-op City Island.
Near City Island.
I've seen nests there that had to be taken down by the electric company, but I believe that they did it humanely. They made sure that there were no deaths.
Yes, well, those Quakers, they build humongous community nests, and they live in these big nests by the hundreds.
They do.
So it's just incredible to see them out there living and thriving in the wild in an urban environment. Oh, and Roberta, we saw conures and Quakers in Florida also.
That's right, we did. We saw in Coral Gables, I saw a whole tree of mitreds.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was out of my mind.
and we saw the conures and the Quakers in Lantana.
That's right. We saw Nandes, too. Remember on top of the palm tree?
Yes, that's right.
We were going crazy.
I know, it was so cool. And they live, they thrive, and they haven't become pests as far as we know. The Department of Agriculture gets a little, or Fish and Wildlife gets a little concerned about it every once in a while, but so far the only ones that they've seemed to impact are the utility companies because of the Quakers building their nests on utility poles.
Right, and the weight of the nests are what they're concerned about.
Oh, yes, they can weigh hundreds of pounds.
Yes.
But, ospreys built their nests on utility poles for years, too, and they still do.
They still do.
That's why people erect osprey platforms.
Yes. Well, I believe people are erecting platforms for the Quakers as well. Yeah, because there was a real atrocity in Connecticut where they were being taken down by the companies up there, the electric companies, and they weren't doing it in a very humane way.
No.
Sitting on a branch overlooking the parking lot, the pigeons watched as a Mercedes pulled in below them. What do you think? One bird said to the other. Should we put a deposit on that car? Stay perched. Wings and Things will be soaring back right after these messages.
What if you could protect the life of your cat with something so simple and affordable that you already use every day? Get ready for the evolution of kitty litter. It's Pretty Litter. Along with all the features you've come to expect from your kitty litter, Pretty Litter's patented and scientific formula will also monitor your cat's health and detect illnesses early while providing industry-leading odor control. 2 kitty litters, same cat, same price. But there's one important difference. Pretty Litter reacts to your cat's waste by detecting health issues simply by changing color. And the key is that Pretty Litter detects these issues before your cat shows symptoms of physical illness or pain, likely saving you major dollars in vet bills while protecting the health of your cat. What do you think, little guy? Ready to switch litter? Pretty Litter. Colorful insight into your cat's health.
Go to prettylittercats.com/cat101 or use coupon code CAT101 to get 20% off your first subscription order.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
A Frenchman walks into a bar with a parrot on his shoulder. The bartender asks, "Where did you get that thing?" The parrot replies, "In France. There are millions of them." Don't have a canary. Wings and Things is back with more great words on birds with your host, Susan Chamberlain.
Well, people really fall in love with these wild parrots, as Mark Bittner did in San Francisco. And after Roberta read the book, she wrote a song about the wild parrots of Telegraph Hill, about 3 of the birds in the book. Roberta, why don't you tell us something about these birds and what inspired you to write the song?
Well, it's just a tearjerker, the whole story. And I didn't even know a movie was coming out. I just read the book, and that was actually, if anyone has read the book, it's good to see the movie and vice versa. They both complement each other. But in the book, Mark, the birds actually changed Mark's life. He was living homeless and just making it, by the skin of his teeth. You got to read the book to know how he connected with the birds, but they changed his life around, gave him a tremendous meaning to his life that he never had. And there were 3 parrots in the book. One of the parrots you won't see in the movie, her name was Dogan. And so I read the book. I wrote an email to Mark, just said, hey, I love your book. I want to write a song about 3 of your favorite birds. And I figured one was Dogan. The other one was Conure, who was the blue-crowned. And then Tupelo was another cherry head. Those are his 3 most beloved parrots who are no longer with us. So, I wanted to fashion the song with the same kind of sentiment that Abraham Martin and John. You remember the old song by Dion? It was a great song, and so I called it Dogan, Conure, and Tupelo. And I sent it off to him, and he said he loved it, and then they ended up including it in their DVD when they made the DVD of the movie. Oh. So that was really cool. Remember that? That was a.
So there's the music video of Dogan, Conure, and Tupelo's on the DVD of the movie. Right. And it's also, people can download it on iTunes.
That's right, they can. Yes, they can. And they can download it off of, or we can send them copies through the Long Island Parrot Society website. What's that website again?
That's www.liparrots.org.
Correct. And then you could order it through that, and then your money will go towards the building of the Long Island Parrot Museum, Shelter, and Adoption Center.
Yes, that's something that's very sorely needed, as we do have so many displaced parrots, homeless for one reason or another. Yeah. And we'll go over that in an upcoming show. But right now, Roberta, I would love to hear the song Dogan, Conure, and Tupelo. Okay, let's go.
There were 3 that were special, and sometimes I can see Dogan, Conure, and Tupelo flying back to me, Dogan had the strength of 10. I named her after Master Zen, and Conure was the regal one. He wore a crown of blue. Tupelo was my baby, and I swore I read her mind. You see, Dogan, Conure, and Tupelo, they were friends of When people ask sometimes I still see, yeah, I see Dogan, Connor, and Tupelo lying wild and free. Dogan, Connor, and Tupelo, yeah, flying home, flying home.
Stay perched. Wings and Things will be soaring back right after these messages.
Put on a perfectly possum pet party. Having an awesome birthday or adoption day celebration for your four-legged pet, great memories and Instagram-worthy photos. They're available in 2 colorful themes, tropical and fireman. It's a dog's life. Celebrate it with Molly and Bandit Pet Party at mollyandbanditpetparty.com/petlife.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
A Frenchman walks into a bar with a parrot on his shoulder. The bartender asks, "Where did you get that thing?" The parrot replies, "In France. There are millions of them." Don't have a canary. Wings and Things is back with more great words on birds with your host, Susan Chamberlain.
Roberta, that was just breathtaking. What a
Susan.
song. You know, I remember when you and Mark Bittner performed it together.
At the meeting, right?
At the Long Island Parrot Society's meeting
Yes.
shortly after the movie came out. And there was not a dry eye in the audience. I mean, people weren't just like tearing up. Some of them were actually sobbing. You know, they had seen the movie and they could just relate it to the song.
Right. And we had Pete Antel on bass, remember?
Oh,
We had
yes.
him.
Mm-hmm.
We thank him very much for playing with us.
Yeah, Pete
Donating his
Antel.
services. Another great songwriter.
And what was Pete Antel's famous song that he
He had
wrote
a song
years ago?
called Nighttime.
Okay.
Which was a major hit. And he was also the first person to record the Dylan song, Times They Are Changing.
Oh, was
Can
he?
you believe?
Wow.
Yeah. We want to let the world know.
Yes, we've got some special songbirds here
Yes,
as
we
well.
do.
That's for sure.
Yes.
But Roberta, one thing I noticed at the end of the song was the sound of parrots. Sounded like a whole flock of parrots.
Well, that was just, I have a keyboard here. I call it a workstation. It's a Triton. People that are in the music business would probably know it's sort of the standard keyboard that you use, and has samples. I have samples of parrots. And as a matter of fact, I sampled your parrots on here to create the theme that we're using on this show. And we'll use it on the television show. Because you do. Did you ever tell people your television show that you do?
Well, the Long Island Parrot Society
Yeah.
has a television show.
And you
It's
host it.
regional here on Long Island and up in Rockland County on Cablevision's public access channel. It's called the Bird Club, and it's a weekly
great.
half-hour show.
Yeah.
And because it is public access, of course, the time and even the day may change every 6 months. So you kind of have to look for it, or go to the Long Island Parrot Society's website and look for it.
Oh, okay.
And again, that's www.liparrots.org. But Roberta, were those the actual wild parrots at the end of the song?
I did implant some of them in there, and I did go to San Francisco a couple of times. And I met Mark and Judy, and they're married now. They got married.
Yes.
It's a
Judy
great
is
story.
was
She's
the
the
filmmaker.
That's right. She directed and produced.
The movie.
Yeah, yeah, and she does a lot of other animal related movies, and it was just amazing. You walk up towards Telegraph Hill and you hear them just flying overhead,
You hear
and
them
then you
e-
start running. Oh my gosh!
Do you hear them even before you see them?
Yes.
Like we did when we went and saw the Quaker parrots in New Jersey.
Yes.
Remember we
Yes.
were walking down and we were hoping we were getting to the right
Right.
place, and then you heard them.
Then you heard them. Then you start running.
Yeah. Okay, so you heard them. But I mean, it must have been amazing to see birds that look just like your own bird flying
I know.
around.
And there is a mitred conure in the flock. Her name was, I think she still might be around, Olive. And she mated with one of the cherry heads, so they have the hybrids now, hybrid babies.
A hybrid baby. And and there was a little parakeet flying around
that's
with
right.
the flock too.
He sort of led the pack.
Yeah.
He led the pack.
He didn't know he was tiny and Australian.
No. Oh.
With all those South Americans.
Yes.
So how was it emotionally just seeing these birds just flying?
Well, the
amazing.
greatest part of that visit was when the birds came and visited Mark. Actually came to Mark in the trees, where we'd see him from in the movie. I mean, there I was right there. And I took a ton of pictures, and of course, it was just for me just breathtaking to see that and be a part of it. And I think the people of San Francisco that became aware of what was going on, they started to feed the birds themselves, and we realized that it's not a good thing because then the birds depend on humans. So Mark and Judy have, I believe, worked on passing a law that it's illegal now to feed the birds and let them live in the wild.
But they were also able to preserve the trees that the birds were living in. I know there was a situation where there were going to be some of the trees were going to be cut down, and they were able to stop that.
They stopped it. I think one was cut down, but they saved a few.
Well, in San Francisco, you don't when you have a pet, you don't. It's no longer referred to as owning a pet.
Is that true?
You are the pet's guardian.
No.
Yeah. Owner is not politically correct.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it is true, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We always say that our parrots own us because of their personalities, but in reality, it is. I
know. Well, in New York, where we live, it's the legal standard for animals is that they are property. Right. But I think when you have a bird, the question of who owns who is really up for grabs.
Absolutely. Who was that other guest you had at the Parrot Society meeting? It was Joanna Berger. Was that her name?
Oh, yeah.
Who had that book?
The Parrot Who Owns Me.
Who Owns Me. Oh, another great book.
And they kind of do. They're the boss. They when I get up in the morning and it's time to take care of the birds, and you feed the birds, you socialize with the birds.
You are an amazing bird owner.
Well,
you are. I've stayed over Susan's house, and I have seen what Susan does. You make the muffins in the morning.
Well, it's not really a muffin. I mean, this is kind of a neat recipe. If you'd like to try it, you use egg beaters. Constant eggs for your bird aren't really good because it's got too much cholesterol in it. So use an egg substitute like egg beaters, the equivalent of, for my birds, I use the equivalent of 2 eggs, and it lasts about 3 days because I just give them each a little piece. But I put the egg mixture in the blender. I add some sliced raw carrots, a couple of broccoli florets, and I take the pellets that the birds eat and separately, I grind them up in a food processor so it's like flour. I keep that in a jar, and I add a heaping tablespoon of the pellet powder to this mixture. I whip it around in the blender till it's all pulverized, and then I cook it just like an omelet.
Look at that. Look at the work that you do. This is amazing. Yeah. Well, they're very healthy birds, and they're happy birds, too.
Well, it's really easy, and it's a really good way to sneak good nutrition into birds that may be kind of picky and cantankerous. My Amazon parrots are all over, except for Kelly. Kelly's the baby. She's only 27. But the other Amazons, my 2 double yellowheads and my red lord Amazon, are all probably 33 to 35 years old.
That's amazing.
And all 4 of them were wild-caught imports. And although they're all, tame and sociable, Cracker's my best bud. I've had her for 27 years.
Oh, yeah.
She's always
attached
on my
at the shoulder.
Yep, attached at the shoulder. But, when in their first homes, they were probably just fed sunflower seeds and junk food. Cracker lived with a bachelor in Brooklyn during her formative years. And let me tell you, even after all this time, and I hardly ever get takeout food at my house. She knows what a pizza box is. the one or two times a pizza box comes into my house, Cracker's ready to dive into it. So this egg omelet mixture is a really good way to sneak some nutrition into these resistant birds. And, you just cook it till, you don't want to give them a runny egg mixture. You cook it till it's almost kind of bready or omelety. And it's very good for them. And they're thriving. Cracker wouldn't touch a pellet otherwise, so I sneak it into the egg mix.
And then Ratchet stays at your house every now and then when I travel, which is a wonderful thing. She eats up a
Ratchet
storm.
gets that too.
She does.
Well, Ratchet, she likes her carrots, and getting a bird to eat carrots maybe only bird people understand this. It just may be. Do they like carrot sticks? Do they like their carrots in chunks? Do they like their carrots raw, or do they like their carrots cooked? I mean, they're like, you just have to discover a way to get them to eat them. And carrots and sweet potatoes, a little bit of mango, all these bright yellow vitamin A rich fruits and vegetables are very, very good for birds.
Yes.
Because vitamin A deficiency, particularly in cockatiels, can be a problem.
Oh, really?
And this is a good way to get it into them.
Oh. I know Ratchet will not eat a grape unless you cut it in half.
Oh, well, of course. I cut all my birds' grapes in half.
Oh, well, I didn't know. I had to learn.
Yes, and you must de-seed them as well.
Oh, no.
Not necessarily. Well, I have a friend or two who will not eat a grape unless it's peeled.
Really?
Yes, miss. But, we take really good care of the birds. And to non-bird people, say like my mother, she'll say, oh, for goodness sake, what is all this all about? There
are children.
Yes. Blueberries are very good for them. And, the mild acidity is very good for their crops also.
Oh. And what about that crop, the gravel? When I first got my first parrot, they sold me a box of that in the store. I mean,
Don't need it. Not
necessary, right?
No. Okay. My bird. Well, I've had I've had most of my birds for more than 20 years. They've never had gravel.
Okay.
They're just thriving.
I wondered about that.
Most veterinarians advise against it because the risk of impaction is too great. It can get impacted in their crops. It can irritate their digestive system.
Wow.
And, the fallacy of providing a bird with a cup of gravel is just silly. If they need any grit, it's at the most, a couple of grains of grit a year.
Yeah.
And they really don't need it. They have everything they need. I think. I hear Ratchet. Is she tuning up?
Do you want to say something? Do you want to sing? Sing. Come on. Sing. Sing Merry Christmas. Sing Merry Christmas. Sing Merry Christmas. Come on. Sing Merry Christmas.
She's very distracted by something today.
Ask what's up.
What's up?
What's up? Come on.
What's up, Ratch?
What's up? What's up, Ratchet? What's up,
she also says hiya, Ratch.
Hiya, Ratch. You taught her that.
Yeah, she got that from me. Maybe if we and Ratchet is no stranger to microphones, so she's not intimidated.
I don't know what it is. She's not speaking today.
No, she's just interested in all sorts of other things.
Yeah, it's like biting my hand.
Yes.
But it's an affectionate bite. It doesn't hurt.
No. When birds bite, I mean, that's one thing that can really ruin a relationship.
Yeah.
Between a person and a bird. And the biting, it can be caused by several different things. There's displacement biting, where in the wild a bird will try and warn its mate away from danger by nipping at it.
Oh, wow.
So if someone else approaches you, like say you've got your bird on your arm, someone else comes up to you quickly and your bird nips you, that's displacement biting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, 'cause she'll always do that. She'll bite me instead. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's displacement biting. And, if you socialize your bird a little more, that may help with that, or just being aware of it.
Right.
And there's also fear biting. If a bird is afraid, if you're sticking your hands in its cage, your bird may bite. That's territorial biting.
Wow.
If your bird is prone to territorial biting, just wait until the bird comes out of the cage before you attempt to pick the bird up.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And stick train the bird. Teach the bird to get onto a stick.
Well, luckily, the 2 birds I've ever had had that. They were trained already with the sticks.
Yeah, well, and that's a great thing for a bird to do. If a bird sitter comes to your house, may be nervous about handling your bird. If the bird's stick trained, it can pick the bird up, put the bird on the stand. If your bird ever, heaven forbid, gets out and is up a tree and you extend a stick, it's not going to be afraid of the stick because it's used to the stick.
Right, and you have a bird sitter come to your house because you have 10 birds, right?
I do, yes. She comes and stays whenever.
It's the only way to do it.
I go on vacation, and I know when you're out of town on gigs, Ratchet comes to my house.
Yeah, she does.
So it helps to have a birdie friend.
Yes, it's always nice.
Yes, we have to have our birdie godmothers.
Yes, we do. And then we buy them things on the road when we go, shopping. Nice little trinkets.
Yes, you have to buy the bird a present.
The bird a present.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Ratchet, are you going to get a present this weekend?
Mom
goes out of town? We don't know, Ratchet. Well, Ratchet, we're ready to sign off Wings and Things. Let's see if we can get Ratchet to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Come on, say bye-bye. Come on, say bye-bye. Wow. Say bye-bye.
All we're getting out of this is a little chirp.
Join us every week on Wings and Things with your host, Susan Chamberlain, and get a bird's eye view of everything there is to know about pet birds and how to make your frequent flyer a happy camper. Wings and Things, only on PetLifeRadio.com.